The next day, disaster struck. At breakfast, everything seemed fine. Only Pearl was in a bad mood. Fiona carried her in her arms to the breakfast room, which in itself was not remarkable. Pearl seemed to enjoy using her human as a kind of taxicab in order to cover her distances in a maximally lazy way. But then, the kitten didn't settle down on Fiona's lap as she had done at previous meals, but hopped onto the floor and came straight towards me. Without comment, she headed for the spot between my front paws and turned me into her pillow again. This time, she did not have the slightest reason for it. There was not even a hint of a cold breeze to be felt. The breakfast room was heated up like a sauna, and no breath of air penetrated through a crack anywhere. I noticed that Pearl's coat looked a little rough. "Are you all right?" I asked her. "No." She lifted her head and looked at me out of her big blue eyes. "There's something wrong with my human." I looked in Fiona's direction. She was sitting alone at a table, apparently lost in thought, chewing on a piece of cake. Her eyes were red, her eyelids clearly swollen, but she was too far away for me to be able to read her mood from the smell of her body. "She left with you rather abruptly last night," I remarked. "What was the reason for that?" "How should I know?" Pearl replied in frustration. "I'm not a people whisperer." "Doesn't she talk to you? My Victoria always pours her heart out to me, and most profusely." No. Fiona doesn't have that habit. When she has a problem, she keeps it bottled up. She doesn't even talk about it with her best human friends." "Maybe you should send her to Victoria's psycho practice sometime," I pondered aloud. At the back of my mind, I thought again about a possible relationship between my human and Pearl's. However, I wasn't sure yet if that really was a good idea. "Might be worth a try," the tiny one replied with little enthusiasm. "But how does that help us now? I think something terrible must have happened. Fiona even forgot to feed me last night. That's never happened before since I've been with her." A biting remark was on the tip of my tongue, but I stifled it. Cats are generally quite demanding when it comes to their human staff, and Pearl seemed to be no exception in this respect. Forgetting to feed her was tantamount to a mortal sin. Either I was thinking too loudly to myself, or the kitten read the sarcastic remark from my snout. "That wasn't the worst of it," she explained to me. "Fiona went to bed very late, and she slept for an hour or two at most. After that, she was awake again, and then cried half the night, most of the time into my fur." That, of course, was sacrilegious. And worrisome. "It's a shame we don't know what's going on with her," I said. "You've got to make her talk to you more." "I'll try," Pearl said. Then she let her tiny head sink back onto my paw and closed her eyes. She looked absolutely exhausted,